Good morning, everybody. Are you done with the quiz?
Yes.
I know today's class is exceptional. It is very short because we started by doing the quiz, calling your names. The quiz is like 2 marks. It will be added to your midterm. So hopefully it will improve your midterm exam. Now we don't want to let this chance go without videotaping the class. So today we are having Jahan al-Farra. She's going to take over, and she's going to give a short presentation, about the stylistic analysis of, the Oxen. Okay? Good. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not going to do anything new, really. I'm just going to do them quite just like a sum up of what we discussed the previous class. So, the Oxen. I don't know, we read it before, so I'll make you listen. After we're done, you can listen to the Christmas Carol, the Oxen itself. Okay, first of all, we said that in the poem, you have a difference between, the poet separated between the time of the first 2 stanzas and the last 2 stanzas by saying first he used then, and then he used in these years. So then, what does it signify? It signifies the patterns of life back then and the ritual supports of the community. Everything was, the 2 stanzas completely had this coherent idea of spirituality and community and stuff like that. But then in these years, you find a lot of skepticism, a lot of doubts, a lot of things that are reflected in the stylistic devices that are used that we're going to discuss further on. And you see that the language itself had stylistic contrast. The language in the first 2 stanzas were contrasting blatantly with the last 2 stanzas. First,
you mean the language the lexical choices?
Yeah, we're going to go back to it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. First stylistic contrast was the tense. You see that he drew a parallel. All these stylistic devices he used are drawing a parallel or parallelism or sort of contrast between the first 2 stanzas and the last 2 stanzas. The first one was the tense. You find that in the first 2 stanzas, the tense he used was in the past tense, and then in the second, he used the present tense. Here you see he's said, an elder said, dwelt, all these dead, all of these were in the past tense. But then he comes here and he goes, I feel, etc. So he uses the present tense afterwards.
So what?
So we see that he's drawing a contrast between before.
So what? We have to give meaning to this.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the past which happened and finished, so
yeah.
It's over. We're
It's
no
over.
longer under the pressure of time.
Of the time.
It is done. It is behind. But here, it feels like we are under the pressure of time.
Yeah.
We feel. We have to suffer. You see what I mean?
Mm. And then after that, we talked about the modal verbs. First of all, we said, what do they signify? We have the fact that they reflect greater uncertainty because they're not like certain verbs. They actually give uncertainty to the words you're saying, and they signal subjective orientation towards the events or the actions that are happening. So in the second, he didn't use any modal verbs in the first 2 stanzas, which give you the impression that everything was certain, they believed in everything that was said. But then he moved in the last 2 stanzas, he used would, should, and might, and those are modal verbs. So in the second stanzas, it reflects the complexity and the more skeptical attitude towards things.
So subjective orientation, it means personal point of view.
Yeah.
Personal point of view.
It's okay. The clause structure, we talked about the shift from a simple structure to a more complex structure. At the beginning, you see just main clauses, there's a subordinate clause between, but as you carry on, as you move on in the poem, you see that he actually started using defining clauses, and the structure itself became more complex to reflect the complexity of the attitude of the nowadays. There's more doubts, more.
This is what she wants to say. There is parallelism between the complexity of syntax and the complexity
of the meaning he wanted to give. And then the pronouns. The pronouns, we talked about the we versus the I. At the beginning, he talked about we. He said we. And then, like here we pictured, so he's using the collective, like he's reflecting the community. But then he moved on to say I feel, I should go. So this is reflecting the nowadays more individuality. So there is separation between the community and individualism. And then you see the points of reference. It further illustrates the same point, which is, for example, at the beginning he used elder, and then in the second two stanzas he used someone. And this reflects also at the beginning, like they knew there is an elder, everyone believed in the wisdom of the elder, everyone believed in this, and it was a community. And then he moved to someone, there's more doubts, more skepticism, if you may. And yeah. And also here you see like the word yonder, he signified, like he said, come and then yonder. But then in the second, later, he went like, at the beginning, there's like childhood. It wasn't something specific, so it's more vague, more general. So as you move on, there's more particular, like they pay attention to more particular things. At the beginning, they used to take things for granted.
And even gloom, if you look at the image, it lacks clarity. It is vague, you know.
Yeah, so this is basically what I wanted to say.
And you can add also like the lexical choices.
Yeah. For example, here, like he put hard side and he put childhood, but then he used gloom. And
what do you mean? Meek, mild creatures, flock. All these words have positive connotations. But if you go to gloom, coo, and even like the sound itself is like
gloomy,
not very musical.
Yeah.
But there is one thing, you know, I want all of you to think about. Now, yes, the first two stanzas sharply contrast with the second two stanzas.
Yeah.
However, there is something I noticed in the poem, and I'm not sure. Like you
First
have
line?
the rhyme is perfect rhyme.
Ah.
You see what I mean?
There's a
So what does it mean?
couplet.
What does it mean? Can you give meaning to this? Now, you have here two words, two contrasting words. But when it comes to the rhyme,
It's
you know,
regular.
it is perfect, it is regular. So here, now if I were him, I would use
Distort
like
the last
I
one.
rhyme, imperfect rhyme, in order to parallel this word. But Hardy, you know, just like gave us this, yes.
Maybe he once said that everything will be okay, and that's even if there is some complications.
So do you want to say that he wants to give some hope?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. It's a good. I haven't thought about this. Yes.
Maybe he was affected by the last days and the last.
Yeah, he's still like affected by like.
He's recalling.
You know, he has some, you know, something to offer. Like good, perhaps. Yes.
Sir.
Huh?
Maybe, I don't know, it could be wrong, but maybe he like he feels like we didn't really feel this change, like during the days, like it passed on really quickly that we didn't feel it. So it felt to us it's like it's happening very
tricky,
eventual. It's happening very.
Yes, it's a good idea. More? Why? This is a good question. You know, this is a good exam question. Okay, I don't want to ask you difficult questions like this. Okay, it's easy. Look here. I think Hardy, you know, as a poet, the poet works with rhyme, rhythm, you know. And here, you know, just like putting perfect rhyme now is an indication that he himself doesn't point himself to either words. He's ambivalent. He doesn't show his attitude. He doesn't commit himself to either of these words, to the past or to the present. So himself, like, he is like not showing where he is siding, with the past or with the present. And this adds more uncertainty to the poem. So he doesn't want to commit himself to an attitude, to which word he is belonging. And this adds more ambivalence and more uncertainty to the poem. In fact, yes, as I told you, you have to read the stylistic analysis carefully. And if you have any question, we can answer it, you know, easily, you know. Thank
I
you.
don't know if there's time like
Huh?
to show them.
Is there a movie?
No, it's like a 2-minute
okay.
Christmas carol. I don't know if you hear it.
We don't have a voice. Okay. Yeah, Christmas in a few days. We should have waited to teach, the Oxen like next week.
You can't hear it.
I think, last year it coincided with the Christmas.
Like they sing it as a Christmas carol.
Yeah, like if you go to the YouTube, I think you can find it sung in different way. Yes. Thank you very much. Next time we are doing futility, and in order to understand futility, I want also you to read The Soldier for Brooke. It will be an introduction. The Soldier. There is a poem called The Soldier Before Futility. And again, futility, we are going to conduct stylistic analysis. So we might finish the course either Saturday, at maximum Monday. But let's hope we finish on Saturday. Let's hope. Thank you very much and take care. Bye.